I have implemented an idea that yielded 8.61% at the start of February. This idea that I have implemented at the start of February has actually helped me pass my second 50K evaluation. So now I have two 50K accounts funded with 50K with Breakout prop firm. I am a bit under the weather these days, unfortunately, but I still want to share this. I want to share this idea, the way that I implemented it and the trade itself. And so basically what happened is that in the January review, I showed a trade that I took on a weekend day, unfortunately on a Saturday, from 79.5K, and that I went into the trade with the idea that we will not take out the low that we created in April 2025 at 74.5K. Unfortunately, we did take that low, and I closed the trade that I opened on that Saturday with a loss. And at the same time, I had the chance of closing the trade at almost break even at 79.5K because my stop loss wasn't hit for like $50 or $100, so that was pretty lucky. At the same time, when I noticed that we are actually not even passing the 79.5K and we are actually consolidating here at around under 80K, I thought to myself that it is pretty good to take a short here. When I saw that we are breaking down pretty fast from the 75K, 74K range, I thought that this is a good opportunity to actually start shorting because we actually might go lower with power, okay? It is not really in my playbook to short the lows or short support, but this chart gave all the signs that we would go much lower. And so based on market structure, I took a S1 at around sell one position at around 75K with stop loss over the consolidation and over my previous entry for my long. Then when I saw that we are actually very weak on the chart, I started selling more, right? I sold more at 75K once more. I sold once more once we broke under 74.5K once more. And then in the same day, I started selling into weakness. I had six selling Bitcoin positions at a point, but you have to keep in mind that it's very important on how you place your stop losses. So for example, for S1 I had 79.5, for S2, S3 and S4 I had 78.5. So I'm actually starting to have some stop losses closer to the actual position. And when we started moving lower, right, on the 5th of February, I moved all my stop losses around 73.7K, which is actually an overnight high, and it's basically the sign that if we go over 73.7K, we can create a failed auction type of movement, and we can move up from the 74.5K level. And so at this point, I was kind of okay with all these positions, especially since I closed the 4th and the 5th position at 70K. Just maybe it would have created a fake support level that would have pumped pretty aggressively just because of the fact that it's an even level, okay? Then the 6th sell was when we broke down from the 70K level, and I closed everything at 67K just because I thought that was a big support. Unfortunately, it wasn't. I could have obviously kept for higher profits, for more profits, but you don't need to get too greedy on these moves. This is a move that yielded a lot of profits, around 4 to 5 or maybe even more percentage of wins. It was probably 2.5 to 3K in currency, in dollars. And so at this point, you should probably think to yourself that you have quite a big position. You are in pretty big profits and you should preserve your wins, and you shouldn't be too greedy in order to catch all the move. At this point, I basically took a trade that had the meat of the trade and in it, and I had pretty big profits, and there was no real reason for me to be greedy and wait for lower levels. Now, if you're checking this chart for Ethereum, it's pretty similar to Bitcoin, right? So at this point, when I'm selling the Bitcoin position, when I thought we would break down from the 74.5k April low, I also sold on Ethereum, and I started selling once the chart went weaker. Okay, so once the chart went weaker and we moved lower, I was actually looking forward to hitting 1.8k level on Ethereum, which I actually did. And so I did the same thing that I did with moving the stops to 73.7 here. Once we moved lower and lower, I actually started moving my stop losses closer to the actual trade. So where my trade would get invalidated is probably if we would have moved higher than 2.1, 2.2k. So at this point, there is no real reason to keep my stop losses around 2.5k when I know that my trade would be invalidated completely if we would move with power over 2.1 or 2.2k. And so this is what I want you to take out of these trades. Once you have a big profit, you should, one, not be too greedy for more and more profits. If you have a very good profit, you should actually think actively about closing the trade and not waiting for 50 or 100 move more. And second, I would like you to think about the fact that you have your stop losses in place, but it would be a good idea to de-risk and think about your open profits as where would my idea be invalidated in order for me to not be able to get even more profits out of this trade. So at this point where I closed all my shorts around 1.9k, I had two options. I either wait for a 1.8k, okay, or I think to myself, if this would go higher, where would my trade be invalidated in order for it not to go even lower? And so at this point, I thought we could even get a relief rally just because of the fact that we moved sharply lower on the day, say 67k on Bitcoin, okay? And the risk of going higher here is bigger than the possibility of going lower for the very short term. And when you have a big position, you have to think of this. This is the balance that you're thinking about. Is my position and my profit in a good spot if we would move sharply higher here, for example, because this is a short, or sharply lower if it would have been a long in very big profits? I think this is a question that you have to ask yourself whenever you are in my situation right here. Obviously, these two shorts have helped me pass the 50k evaluation, which I actually even got a big payout, a 1.5k payout after the actual evaluation and on the funded account in the following days after this big short. And so I wanted to show you the journal. Okay, so this is how I journal my trades. And it's very important to keep in mind that I took this as a B-type idea just because of the fact that the chart was pretty low already, and I didn't really want it to be too aggressive and class it as an A-type just because of the fact that I wasn't completely sure how low could we go on the short term. I didn't expect us to go to 60k so early into the year, and that's why this is a B-type idea. And it's very important to see that I have two C-types idea. What does this mean? It means that it's treated as a scalp. If I treat my last trade in the bulk as a scalp, I am close to taking all my profits here. Okay, this is what I know mentally. If my journal says that this last trade in my idea is a C-type idea, C-type trade, C-type idea implemented in the market, and I'm wagering on a C-type idea, it means that the move for me is close to an end and I should look to close my winning trades. This is how I have created my system and how I trade psychologically. Basically, I'm telling myself that if I am, if I come to the conclusion that this last compounded trade is a C-type trade, then I should be looking in a few hours or a few, I don't know, maybe a few 30-minute candles to start closing the trade. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I think this is what I wanted to show mostly. the fact that when you journal properly and when you show yourself that this is the end of the move for your own system, you should act on it, and you should just respect your system and your thought process. I wanted to show you the exact trades in the breakout terminal as well. So this was the account that I have won after this implemented idea. You can see that it's all on the 5th. It's all closed on the 5th. It was implemented from the 3rd to the 5th. Obviously, I had some losing trades here that I traded with the other account as well. So I had two accounts working in parallel and taking similar positions, but not necessarily the same trade, where I sometimes I would keep some trades more on one of the accounts and not on the other account. But the idea itself was implemented on the 3rd. I have closed everything on the 5th. You can see the two sells that I had here at 70k, and then I started just compounding into my trade for when I saw weakness in the chart. So obviously this account will be deleted here, okay, in a few days, because this is past. This is a evaluation. This is my my current account. This is my current account right now. Obviously, I'm in some long trades right now, so I'm waiting to see what's going to happen today and tomorrow, and probably during the weekend. And yeah, this was also the winning trade that I was talking about after I have won the current second account of 50k. So basically, this is where I'm at right now. I have two 50k accounts, and I'm actively trading both. And I'm looking forward to seeing how this will translate, and I'm looking to see if in a few months, maybe 1 or 2 months, I can go ahead and get a 100k account, get funded with it, and have max allocation on Breakout Profit.